Ladies and gentlemen, my guest this week.
Joining me on the line now is Jordan Devlin. Jordan, thanks very much for the call.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me along.
So you've been wrestling now. So you've been wrestling or involved in wrestling now for 14 years now, since you were a teenager or something like that. Now, yeah.
Before that, even 12.
Yes, and 12. So what inspired you to be a pro wrestler in the first place?
When I was young, I tried every sport, as you can imagine. My mum threw me into everything. So I tried Gaelic football and rugby, and I just didn't really like the idea that somebody else fucks up that I can lose the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I went more individual sports.
Okay.
And I tried karate, tried taekwondo, judo, that sort of stuff. One day my mum found a wrestling club in Bray that opened up about 15 minutes from my house.
Okay.
And I'd already been watching it since I was a kid, on Sky One.
Mm-hmm.
So I went down, had a look, and hooked. Didn't miss a session for about 6 years. I loved it.
So it's literally just been down the road from your house, Five Factory, was it?
Yeah, it was Endaway, Ireland at the time, or actually Hammerlock, Ireland.
Okay.
Paul Tracey and Fergal Devitt had gone over to the UK to learn under Andre Baker, and they came back and they're both Bray lads, and they opened their own gym. So I was just really, really lucky.
That's pretty cool. So you've wrestled now. So in your career now, you've wrestled under many different promotions, both here in Ireland and across the UK and Europe. What's it been like to wrestle across all these promotions, both as a singles wrestler and a tag team wrestler?
It's been great. It's been great that I've been able to travel Europe and the world. Doing something that I love doing and being able to get around on the back of my own talent. I've met my best friends that I have through wrestling, and I've met some good guys along the way, and it's been one of my great experiences in this.
That's pretty cool. Is there any other wrestlers or people that inspire any part of your current persona in the ring at the moment, either past or present?
I don't know. I take a lot of inspiration from the guys around me and the guys that I grew up wrestling with. So obviously Paul and Fergal have had a massive hand in shaping me as a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Paul more so in terms of persona and being able to connect with the fans. And then anyone that watches me can see that I style myself after Fergal. It's no secret.
I can see that actually. Where you do the for life with your fingers and stuff like that, and even the way you get into the ring, So that's cool. So you've been wrestling now, almost exclusively, in over the top wrestling at the moment. Like you've been wrestling there since it first started, from what I can tell. So what have your experiences been like for that organisation, and how do you feel, and what do you feel has contributed to its growing popularity, especially as of late?
Well, its growing popularity, I think, is just the perfect storm of a locker room of hungry, young, talented wrestlers that are all kind of coming of age at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And the market was calling out for it so much so that when people start coming to the first show, we just kind of drag them back every time, and it's taken a life of its own, and it's great to see it grow every month.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, MoTT fans have seen you recently joined forces with your longtime trainer, Paul Tracey, and now yourself will be in the main event for the Invasion Super Show that's going to be taking place in August, where yourself and Marty Scurll will take on Will Ospreay and Ryan Smile. How much of a thrill is that for you personally to be involved in the main event, especially for such a big show that's coming up in August?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I'm just happy to be involved in the show, and I felt that I could contribute more if I was higher up the card.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to showing people what I'm all about and the main event, and showing them that I can hang with Marty and Ryan Smile and Will Ospreay and anyone else they want to bring in.
Absolutely. Well, personally, I'm looking forward to that. So, obviously, as you mentioned, you were trained under Paul Tracey and Fergal Devitt in the Five Factory in Bray. How encouraging were they for you in your wrestling career, or how much of an influence were they for you personally, both as a trainer and as people?
Well, as far as a person goes, Paul Tracey is the biggest influence of my whole life. He's my best friend, and I've known him my entire adult life. I've known him since I was 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as being a wrestler goes, you can't have a better benchmark than Fergal Devitt, being a few years older than you.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, I was coming up through Bray, and he was in America, and then I started travelling, and he was already doing his Bullet Club stuff in New Japan, and when I started wrestling in Japan, then he was moving on to America and WWE, and he's always just given me something to aim for and something to aspire to be like.
Absolutely. Did you watch the draft last night? Actually, he was drafted 5th overall pick. Like, that's a huge.
I did, yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, it's massive. Especially, it's particularly great that all the 3 Irish wrestlers, Becky Lynch and Sheamus, they're all inside the televised picks as well. So it's a big night for Irish wrestling in that sense. Especially, obviously for Fergal, who was like 5th overall, and considering the wrestlers that were just below him that were picked, the likes of John Cena, to name a few. Like, it's a huge thing. Especially, imagine it's a huge thing for the Fight Factory there down in Bray as well, where he would be coming down.
I say there was a few smiles there when they saw that. I was pleasantly surprised, but when I saw him getting as high up the draft as he was, but well deserved.
Absolutely. So, as a fan yourself, before you start your professional career, and even right now, as a fan or as a wrestler, appreciating everyone's craft, who would you say would be your favorite? Who are your favorite wrestlers growing up, or even right now?
I started watching in the late '90s, so it would have been the standard, The Rock, the Stone Cold, Triple H, Undertaker, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now these days, I like watching wrestlers that can tell a story in the ring with their body. So I like watching guys like Zack Sabre Jr. I like watching Fergal or Finn Balor. I like watching Doug Williams, those sort of guys.
Okay, cool. And in terms of yourself, who are your favorite wrestlers to be in the ring with, and why? Actually, like, is there a certain wrestler that you like to be in the ring with for a certain reason, or to have a certain match with?
No, I like being in the ring regardless of who my opponent is. I like wrestling different styles. I had a match there with Tyler Bate last month that I really enjoyed. It was a World of Sports style match.
I really enjoyed that.
Was great.
I was there for that match. I really enjoyed that. It was almost like the 1960s World of Sport. Like, it was such a different match from what we're used to, like the high flying or the American style. So it's very unique nowadays to watch that sort of match. Yeah. So yeah, and is that a type of style that you'd like to encourage, like, or again, depending on the opponent, of course?
Depending on the opponent, yeah, but I think there's a spot for all sorts of wrestlers on every show. You know, it's great to see the heavyweights, slapping each other around and the cruiserweights flying around. But I think there's definitely a spot for the classic technical wrestling, chain wrestling style.
Absolutely. So, in your long career now, you've been in the ring now you've been training for 14 years and been in the ring for 10 years, if I'm right in saying. Your ring debut was 2006. Right, yeah. What would you consider the highlights of your wrestling career so far?
The highlight for me would probably be winning the NWA International Junior Heavyweights tag titles in Kirkinall in Japan with Sean Guinness.
That's very cool. Now, final question I was actually going to bring that up. You have wrestled under over the years in a few tag teams, like with Sean McGuinness. You were the Regency Society in Green. It's the Regional Society. Am I correct?
I was the Regency Society with a guy called Mike Quigley.
Mike Quigley, excuse me.
And I was Green, White and Awesome with Sean South for a while as well.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up. So yeah, as it sounds like you've been wrestling under a lot of tag teams, but I want to ask you, who do you think is the greatest tag team in wrestling history? Like, if you had to pick one or even a few tag teams.
If I had to pick one.
I don't encourage you to pick one if you have more than one choice. Don't worry.
I think I'd probably go with the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty.
Okay.
Because I think they revolutionised tag team wrestling, and before them, a lot of guys didn't really do a lot of quick tagging in and outs and combination moves, and these guys really turned tag team wrestling into a team sport, if you will. And they just changed the face of the game in the late 80s, and they're not really appreciated for doing that.
Absolutely, yeah. Like that. Like, I personally wouldn't have thought that team. Like, but now you mention it, like, they have done a lot for the tag team division. But it's probably because their lack of accomplishments compared to the Dudleys and so on. But, like, that's a very good answer, like, for the Rockers. So Jordan Devlin will be wrestling in Over the Top Wrestling's Invasion Super Show, where he and Marty Scurll will take on Will Ospreay and Ryan Smile, And August 6th, tickets are still available on eventbrite.ie. The event will take place in the Tivoli Theatre in Dublin. Jordan, it's been lovely speaking to you. It's been awesome chatting with you, and I wish you all the best and more in the future.
My pleasure, Dave. Thanks very much, Robbie.
More than welcome.